Oh shoot, I don't have the intro pulled up. I got this. We're good. Welcome everybody to If I May, a podcast with me, Kyle, and two of my average friends, Nick and Brent. And I was supposed to say that I'm average as well. I'm a podcast talker, so it's fine. We're going to talk about whatever we want and interrupt as politely as possible. This is episode 30. Let's go. I can't believe we got to the big ol' 3-0.
We're officially old.
We're officially old?
I think that's...
Are we officially 3-0? But like, what is officially old? At what point are you officially old?
30.
No, you're not old till you're north of 60 probably is my best bet. Like I love nothing more than to just complain and groan every time I get up out of my chair and say, "Oh, I'm old." No, until you're 60 plus, you still got plenty of gas in the tank. Is my thought, as long as you're healthy. 30
well, it's
episodes.
slightly true though, because like even I went skiing this last weekend, and getting up was a lot more difficult this last weekend than it was when I was younger and going skiing.
Oh yeah, that just comes with time. But where I was going with that is,
if I may, Kyle, has getting up for you ever been easy? I don't ever imagine.
No, not getting up in the morning, just like
really fast.
getting up from not falling down, but like I'm getting into one of my topics. But went skiing this last weekend, and in Colorado, you have like half an hour runs down the hill, which like, and you're also at altitude. And so it's one of those things where in Wisconsin, it's not really possible to get like tired while skiing. Whereas in Colorado, it's quite easy. So like we legit like took breaks as you're going down the mountain. There's like rest areas. And so, we'd like sit down just on the ground. And getting up is not quite as fun, especially at the end of the day. We were like, it's a lot of effort.
That seems like real skiing, though. That's how skiing's meant to be. Something that you get on the mountain and then you actually stay on the mountain for more than 10 seconds at a time.
Oh yeah, I have this app that's like ski tracks or whatever, and like you just turn it on and basically uses the GPS of your phone to tell you how you're doing, what you're doing, that kind of thing. And so, while I pull that up, Nick, what were you gonna say earlier? I cut you off with an "if I may."
Yeah. So if I may, episode 30. Each one of these episodes is approximately an hour, roughly. I think that's kind of what we aim for in general. We have spent more than one full day just being chatty Cathys. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. On pause. I don't know how you feel about chatty Cathys.
Oh, that feels bad.
Yeah,
but
where's
the
that
rest
come
of
from?
it feels good. So the thing that I
chatty
think about
Cathys?
with this too, you have to remember we also put in anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes of prep time in before, just trying to figure out stuff.
Nick does
so you
zero
could
prep
almost
time.
double the amount of time we've actually. Well, okay, Nick just shows up. The rest of us are like, we actually like sit there and have to think of stuff.
Zero.
Maybe a beer. If Nick drinks a beer before the podcast, that's his prep time.
All right, yeah. No, that calms my nerves. Makes me a little less edgy.
Okay.
No,
Let's
but
you want to get our
credit. To give credit to both Kyle and Brent, they have put in a lot more time outside of the actual podcast. I just show up and show out like I do, and whatever comes, you get. Whereas Kyle has put an incredible amount of work into organizing us, getting our sound stuff correct, and Brent is always trying to find new subjects and also helping out with a lot of the tech stuff as well. So
and Twitter, can't forget Brent on the Twitter
for all the twats, of course. So we have we have these guys who work incredibly hard, and then we have me who just shows up, has a beer, and hangs out. So thanks.
No problem. Let's get into our opening segment. And it was a little stretch this week, but I thought, we could just talk about, I forgot exactly who said what at the beginning, but it reminded me of my favorite animated film, Zootopia. That film is just so genius in the way it goes through some of the humor and the story of it. It's hilarious for a quote unquote kids movie, but very adult and lots of sex jokes. I noticed that a lot with a lot of the Disney films. Like anytime there's a duet song between two characters, it's the Disney version of a sex scene. Like the best example is The Lion King. Like, can you feel the love tonight? They're like flopping over each other in a field. They're doing it. Simba and Nala are having a good time.
I was actually thinking something similar with respect to understanding what they're really saying. And at a surface level for kids, it's about keeping their attention, bright colors, loud noises, and happy, peppy, poopy songs. But when you actually get into some of the details, and I don't feel, disclaimer, I don't feel this way truly, but I'm gonna hop on not the tangent train, although it is a tangent. I'm gonna hop on the conspiracy train. So the conspiracy train here with my tinfoil hat and what have you, which is the common terminology that people I listen to use with respect to, all right, this is out of nowhere. Zootopia is a very good movie. I do like it. But a lot of movies like that are pushing a really, really hard agenda of diversity over everything, which is not a bad...
Zootopia did it in a way where it kind of like made fun of it's in light of itself.
I agree, and again, I'm wearing my tinfoil hat, going off on my little crazy scheme. But movies are pushing so hard, and everything being pushed at kids today, and college professors in universities. It's all going one direction, and it's all completely inclusion, completely diversity. Doesn't matter who's the best candidate or what's the best answer. It's just, no, everybody needs to always be included all the time. And it does make the world a better place. If I'll step back off of my little crazy train. But it is a good thing. There is a good message. But at the same time, like it's so over the top. It's like, we're going to win everything through love. Everything will be okay if you walk up to Hitler.
Did you not watch Captain Planet when you were a kid?
We will hug Hitler, and he will hug us back eventually. It's kind of the overall theme that I get from a lot of these different kind of things. But I'll step off my crazy.
What other movies are you talking about? Like, Zootopia is a very not thinly veiled movie on class and different races and that kind of thing. But what other movies? I can't think of any off the top of my head. They're pushing that agenda in particular, at least.
Think of any. You're catering to kids, but name any kids show that is
Clues.
Blue's Clues. Modern kids show.
Pokemon.
I'll counter that. No, I guess maybe I'm just crazy, but I feel like there's a lot of those, and maybe that warrants more research. I'm not invested enough to go out and try and pick out these specific movies, but if I can jump back to the initial subject.
Yeah, what's the question here? What's your favorite animated film here? Come on.
Well, I'm jumping back if you'll let me. Brent wasn't going to let me make my statement.
You took a mile run before you jumped back.
I want to get on this quick. If I may, to go back to Kyle's point about every duet is a quote-unquote sex scene, didn't Elsa and Anna do a duet sometime?
You're going down a dangerous road, my man.
I'm just saying, I don't think everyone is.
They weren't in the same room, though. Do you want to build a snowman? They were never in the same room. She said no.
Oh, gosh. So
Owned.
That was good. That was good. I'll give you that. Props.
As far as
props.
Well, no, he's saying it wasn't.
He's saying it was. He said no. It was just not consensual.
It wasn't a true duet.
It wasn't a
the
thing.
two of them
It wasn't
together.
a true duet.
You
Plus,
went
like, Elsa
down
didn't even
the
really sing in that
whole
whole
dirty
thing.
hole.
She'd be like, "Go away." Okay, bye. That was a one way duet there.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna derail whatever the hell that just was. Best animated film: Shrek.
Ooh, okay.
It took the entire Disney universe and flipped it upside down and did it brilliantly.
Princess in a Castle. Yeah.
Ooh, on the spot.
We're 10 minutes
There's
in.
a lot
You
of
had a good 5 minutes to think
there's
about
a lot
it.
of good animated films. There's a ton. It's hard to pick just one. There's a couple of those Japanese.
No, we're not talking
Castle in the
animes. We're
Sky.
talking like Disney, Pixar. Those are.
It's animated though. You're saying animated film. When you're talking about animated, if it's someone drew it by hand.
Okay, what's your favorite
and put it
anime?
on, that's no, not anime. I'm talking about film.
Okay,
The Castle in the
Answer the
Sky.
question.
That
Castle in the Sky is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Answer the
I mean,
question.
those are beautiful. Or Kiki's Delivery
Answer
Service.
the
I do like Kiki's
question.
Delivery Service.
Like they're just really good stories. and styles.
Answer the question.
Fine. I'll go with the Kiki's because that's the only one I can think of
Kiki's
right
Delivery
now.
Service. So
Kiki's Delivery Service was a great movie.
What is Kiki's Delivery Service?
it's one of my favorites. I have it on my Plex server, but they at one point in time, the original version I saw had a slightly different music track than like the DVD standard nowadays. And I'm kind of upset about it because I like the original music track better than what it is currently. But it's about a young witch who is just about to get her time. They basically, it's like, what's the thing that Mormons do where they have to go
Would
on their
Prince-
own thing for a
Rumspringer.
couple years?
Rumspringer.
The Amish.
Oh, is it Amish? But basically,
Is it?
for
Like
witches
Night
in
Work.
this universe, they have the same thing where they have to go into their own adventure for a couple years and kind of make it into becoming an adult. Make it on your own for a couple years. So Kiki, the witch, and her cat go to this new city, and it's about their adventures there. And she has to figure out a way to make money, so she decides that she's going to deliver packages to make money. And there's all sorts of adventures of dropping her cat or dropping the cat that was a present, and then she has to like put Gigi, her cat, in to like pretend to be a stuffed cat for a little bit. It's kind of funny. It's also like, I don't know, when I was a kid, the whole flight thing, because I became an engineer, I really liked the whole idea of flying, and it's a cool film for that.
Anime?
I think it's Japanese made, but it's it's dubbed and whatnot pretty
but
well.
then my question would be: would Brent's mom be okay with him watching this based on the kind of animations that take place?
Yes, it's
What
100% kid friendly.
Yeah, this is it's Studio Ghibli. I don't know if I said that right. Ghibli. Oh gosh, that's embarrassing.
Well, anime in general
Miyazaki.
has some stereotypes, and I don't need to be the one to introduce those here. And not knowing what it is, I didn't know what kind of crazy
good.
route you
It's
were going
fine.
down.
It's totally kid friendly and
It's
a good film.
you could show. It's just one of those classic good films where it goes beyond. I think with a lot of animated movies, in that just everything is a work of art, from the storyline, to characterizations, to the actual, like the whole drawing is just phenomenal. The whole style of all those, like Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Castle in the Sky. They're all just a step above a lot of the stuff that you'll see in American movies. I mean, there's still some of the classic Disney's like Lion King stuff. That's another. Finding Nemo, but
I think when I was a kid, I think Toy Story might have been my all-time favorite when I was younger. It still is way up there,
Hard to beat.
I
definitely-
like the first Toy Stories. The other ones aren't. I don't care for them. Like Toy Story 3 is just pandering. It doesn't do anything.
Toy Story 3, I mean, it was a good movie, but yes, there was a lot of pandering in Toy Story 3. It was a lot of what do people want to see or what's going to get to people.
Have you guys seen the animation, or not the animation? Well, it is an animation. The advertisements for Toy Story 4?
I have not yet. I have heard about it, though.
I've
I
seen
haven't
it,
seen it.
yeah.
In theaters, I've seen the advertisements for Toy Story 4, and it's like two toys at a carnival booth that are sitting there talking mad shit about their lives or what they did. And like one of them was, it pretends to be two guys in the ghetto, or like two gangsters just kind of BSing back and forth.
But they're
And
toys.
like, well, right, they're toys, of course, and they're just like, I told that big bear, don't you come mess with me. I slapped him in the face. And the other guy's like, oh, no, you didn't. And then they're going back and forth. And then
How'd that go?
for whatever reason, like just their crazy conversation gets on the topic of Toy Story. And they're like, oh my God, I love that. Those guys are so good. Buzz Lightyear. and then they couldn't remember the catchphrase "to infinity and beyond," so they just started making up their own like stupid statements like "to something and something," and it's like Buzz and then Woody like come up behind him and it's like, "Hey guys, it's to infinity and beyond," and he's like, "No, that ain't it. No,
That's not it.
Infinity and beyond. You don't know nothing about math. You can't go beyond infinity." Like it's actually a really well done bit. But that's the advertisement in theaters for Toy Story 4. And I don't know if I'll see it, but it was a well done advertisement. I don't know if it's actually part of the movie. I'd assume not, but whatever.
You know who the actors are in those for those toys that you said were doing the bit? That's Keenan and Peele.
Is it?
From,
Those guys are
from the
awesome.
show. So they're actually a lot of the skit is them riffing off of their old like Keenan and Peele show skits.
Yeah.
So like you hit a, no you didn't. That's totally
Hey Ron. Present.
They're basically just ripping
Thank
off their
you.
old famous skit and putting it in a Toy Story theme, which is
Yeah.
hilarious. Those guys are great.
Yeah.
They have some really good ones. Have either of you seen the Keanu or whatever with the cat?
I want to. That's on my
No,
list.
you don't. No, you
Oh,
don't.
it's hilarious. It's
You've got to
great.
be high or drunk to even remotely watch more than 2 minutes of them
It's so good.
consecutively.
It's hilarious. That's one of those
so
movies
bad.
that's so stupid that the more you watch it, the funnier it is. And
I
like
was
Super
not
Troopers.
ready
Super
for
Troopers is not really a good movie, but if you watch it,
High or drunk. Okay.
Not even. You can enjoy Super Troopers. The first 10 minutes of Super Troopers is
you're
some
right.
of
The
the
first 10 minutes
best
is super solid. It does get a little weird / old.
Once they get to the
Super
RV,
Troopers.
was
Yeah.
not good.
that's to be expected.
Super Troopers 2,
Everything
you
is-
didn't like it?
God, no.
I thought it was good. I thought it was okay. Like, it was more of the same. If you like Super Troopers 1,
I don't disagree.
it's more of the same.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I don't think you needed more of the same for that movie, though.
So if I can
Movie
jump
itself isn't enough.
into my first subject for the day.
DFDFSFD?
No, I don't write these things down. You guys continually try to put crap in my box, and I don't have it.
Double standard.
I will not. Well, yeah, but I can. Okay, it doesn't matter.
No.
At any
no.
rate, my first subject for the day is seasonal foods, as we are approaching the Christmas season. I believe
We talked about
Hanukkah is
this.
either wrapping up, but with Christmas foods specifically, eggnog. I had a friend come over and bring eggnog.
Bunch of nope.
Have you guys? What's that?
Bunch of nope on the eggnog.
I've never had it, and I really don't have a
What?
desire to. But
You've
my
never even
question
tried
is, no,
You
dude,
have to have eggnog.
it's called eggnog. Egg does not make me want to eat it. Nog is not a great sounding name
Well,
either.
you drink it. We
I've
had that
smelled
conversation
it,
last
and I've
week.
looked at it. I've smelled at it and I've looked at it, and don't really have a desire to.
That reminds me of that commercial that they had for Budweiser. Really like, I'll try your mead. And then he
Oh,
just
yeah,
smells
right.
it. And it's like,
No, no,
yeah,
no.
no.
Smell the
Two Bud
mead.
Lights, please.
Not unlike
Let's throw
that.
them to the wine cellar.
But as we're going
I
through
like
seasonal
eggnog.
foods, and I know we've talked about this a little bit. If like eggnog is a very clearly Christmas or December beverage, it doesn't make it to like you don't have eggnog past a Christmas party, do you? Like I've never seen eggnog had outside of the Christmas time.
There's
and
no
if you
summer
don't celebrate
eggnogs like there are
Christmas,
summer
then-
shandies.
Well, right. Like what
Yeah, we did
seasonal?
talk about this. We totally had a seasonal food thing
We
already.
had this
That's why
conversation.
we wrote this down. That is why we wrote this down. We totally talked about seasonal food already. I totally remember that now.
Okay, do you want to talk about it or not?
I do want to talk about it because Christmas cookies. When else do you have cookies besides Christmas cookies? Like I never have sugar cookies that have frosting that look like snowmen.
Any other time of year?
Gingerbread houses. That's
Gingerbread.
gingerbread cookies.
Nobody has gingerbread.
Even though gingerbread is
Anything.
delicious. Like
It should be year round.
They should have gingerbread year round, but it's really not.
It's only really
gingerbread's so
celebrated
good.
during Christmas time. My family makes something called grande, which is it's basically trail mix with white chocolate melted all over the top of it. Very
It's-
good. Only during
It's
Christmas
kind
time.
of it's kind of your family's take on like a better version of puppy chow.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, without
it's
the
Better than
very
puppy chow?
rare. Yeah.
yeah, it is.
How can
better.
anything be better than puppy chow?
No,
You've
it
never
is.
had this dessert from Brent's family?
Brent, is this the peanut butter chocolate covered thing?
No,
'Cause that
it's
thing's delicious too.
it has pretzels, M&Ms, Crispix, peanuts, white chocolate, maybe something else I'm forgetting.
I don't think
Sorry.
I've had this before.
Like Chex, little Chex squares things, or like not even squares.
Next
But-
week, Kyle, you're gonna stop over at my family's household. You are going to say, "Just give me a little bit of grande." My mom will, if she is caught up with the episode, she will know to have it out there in a
Have a
little
little
package for
baggie ready
you.
to go.
And she'll just hand it to you, and then you can give her a hug because she'll like that, and then
Better than
on your
puppy
merry
chow.
way.
Better than puppy chow.
Ooh,
Statement.
It's
that's a
better
bold
than
statement.
eggnog as well. It's
Egg-
better than
Oh, it
eggnog.
doesn't take
Yeah,
much to be better than
pretty good.
eggnog.
No,
Nick,
I like
think
eggnog.
for principle
Thick.
alone, you have to try it. I mean, I wouldn't
You
trust
do.
Brent's judgment. He also likes sour beers.
Here's
So,
here's
It's
my
rich.
no kidding.
It's you can't drink a lot of eggnog because it's very rich.
Okay.
But it is pretty good.
It literally did not clean in the dishwasher. Like it
Oh,
sat
no.
at the top of the cup and molded in the dishwasher. Like,
Yeah, you gotta rinse
what's
it out.
appealing about this?
You
I
gotta try
did.
it.
We rinsed it out and then we put it, and there was a little bit on the bottom. We're like, oh yeah, the dishwasher will knock that out, no problem. And no, eggnog ate the dishwasher. Why would I want to?
eggnog with the dishwasher, it's bitch.
That doesn't sound appealing. That doesn't sound good in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure it's okay, and people have it, but it's just one of those things that I'm like, if it's not this time of year, no one has it. And it's not because it's just really great and it's only available that time of year. It's just I don't think it's good to begin with. So kind of an inverse of our initial discussion was more like, oh, focus on why don't we have summer shandy year round? Because I think Kyle and I both love that and would drink that all year round.
I drink it all year round.
What kind of foods are out there? What kind of specialty things are out there that really probably don't need to be around? Period. But for whatever reason,
Eggnog's
somebody
definitely
already,
one of them. Eggnog
somebody
needs to go
always.
away.
Well, right, that's why I'm talking about it. But somebody
The
always
cheap
busts up the
Halloween
God knows
candy.
what.
You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like a generic, just one color wrapper.
Yep.
That stuff can go away.
Baked beans. Baked
What?
beans can go away.
I like baked
Those
beans.
are
It's a
gross.
pretty big staple for a lot of people.
Yeah, baked beans are go
Baked
with
beans can go away. Cool
anything.
Whip can go away.
Cool Whip can go
Okay.
away.
Cool Whip can go
No.
away.
No.
Cool
What is
other
wrong
stuff.
with you?
Say cool.
Or
cool.
just naming
Now say
food we
whip.
don't like,
Whip.
because that's
Now say
what
Cool
I'm
Whip.
feeling the same
Cool
that
Whip.
is. I can do that. Kyle, I thought about it. I actually
Thought about what?
inspiration hit way too late. Our opening segment should have been best Christmas movie to be relevant with the
We'll do that
times.
next year. Next week. Not next year.
Next
Next
time.
week.
Well, we should have missed opportunity.
I'll answer it right now.
No, save it.
Save
Save
it.
it.
Write it down in your box.
I don't have
Yes.
to write it down.
Write it
always
down,
one
Nick. I
answer.
don't know if you're gonna remember it. It might
Who was
change.
Who was I talking to?
I'm
that-
cycling a few of them.
Oh, my buddy Parker. So my buddy Parker came up and visited this weekend. Hi, Parker. Thanks for coming. Had a good time. But he had never seen the movie A Christmas Story. I was like, what? Because we were referencing You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, or I forgot. We were referencing something from it. Oh, it was the Red Ryder double action, blah, 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 air rifle. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, from Christmas Story? No. I'm like, You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, kid. No. I'm like, oh my God. Have you both of you seen that movie?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
My
So
uncle-
my Christmas story is this: we were driving a couple years down to Florida with my family, or with my in-laws. Nick, you were on that trip, but I don't think you stopped where we stopped. We stopped at a rest stop that was in the city that the Christmas Story is based off of.
Okay.
So the rest stop had this museum of Christmas Story things. Like it was just like you walk in and it's this huge rest stop, and then there's a whole big room that's just dioramas from the different
Scenes.
the movie with
Yeah.
like little dolls, and it was kind of weird. It was really weird, actually. Maybe I'll post some pictures of that on the Twitter. But
Do
it was
it.
just one of those things where I was like, people really like Christmas Story in this little town of Indiana. It's okay. It's not my
Christmas Story is
favorite.
actually the reason why Chinese has become like a semi Christmas dinner kind of thing for a lot of families because they end up eating Chinese. So like
Rah, rah,
there's
rah, rah, rah,
rah
rah,
rah
rah,
rah
rah.
rah.
You realize how racist that is, right?
It's in the, we're just
It
quoting the
is.
movie. We're quoting the movie.
I'm literally
Right, but
quoting the movie.
that's okay. If baby
I
it's
don't
cold
support the
outside,
statement at all.
if baby it's cold outside is a horrible song because it's secretly about rape and not even secretly, it's like okay that if you're a rape survivor that could be perceived as what happened. Then if that's the case, then A Christmas Story is one of the most racist movies of all time, with that exact scenario. Which kind of alludes to a tangent train that I'm not going to go
Are
on.
you
but I'm
against
gonna
leg
briefly
shaped
mention.
lamps too, Nick?
No, I'm going to go there.
If
in
I
just
want a
second.
sexy lamp that's shaped like a leg, what's wrong
I'm
with
going to
that?
go there in just a second. But the quick tangent I'm not going to go on, but I do want to allude to.
What?
is-
Choo-choo.
Figure it out.
Choo-choo.
Is, in situations like that where it's an incredibly racist thing, you still have an actor or actress, actors or actresses who are performing that thing, because the people who were in the movie going fa ra 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 were Asian. Like they were perceived to be Asian. I'm assuming they didn't have like full Asian makeup. That'd have been way too expensive or whatever. But
I'm sure everybody had makeup because it's a movie and they're professionals.
right in those situations, it's interesting because there was a movie or two that I was listening to or getting previews for, and it gets torn apart because someone's portrayal of a character is perceived to be too racist. And then
Well, it's like the
therefore
whole Johnny Depp trying to be the Indian in Lone Ranger, right? That was like huge. People were like blowing up about that.
Yeah, it's along those lines. But even when I was thinking more so along the lines of an Asian person who is representing an Asian person, but then acting out racist behaviors or tendencies. It gets real interesting. Anyway, that's a separate tangent. Along the leg lamps, if I can jump back to that, my favorite bar in downtown Appleton. Have you ever been to the Leg Lamp Saloon?
I don't know if I have.
I don't think I've
my
ever gone
gosh.
drinking in Appleton.
Why?
I have not. No.
So my favorite bar in downtown Appleton is actually the Leg Lamp Saloon. It's right above the bar, which is the name of the bar. No pun intended.
It's that blue
just
bar.
The bar, right? And it's blue. Right above that though is my favorite bar, which is the Leg Lamp Saloon. And in every single upstairs window, they have a leg lamp, just like in the movie. They have a leg lamp, but then the inside of it is like the inside of a log cabin. Everything is wood, and they play nothing but the best of like 80s, 90s jump around music. And it's super chill because you feel like you're in a log cabin, but also like great music. So you want to go dance to Britney or NSYNC or Come On Eileen or whatever you got going on. But great bar, and its entire theme is the leg lamp, which just makes me smile.
Oh, music really makes a bar experience, I find. Like when you go out and you listen to songs and you can't hear the words because it's just a bump and rap thing, and the mood really gets set, I think, by the music. I don't enjoy myself.
Well, that's like
if it's,
almost
they're
anywhere.
playing raging music all the time.
That's like everything.
But
Like
80s.
a movie, even the best movies in the world, if they didn't have the music soundtrack behind them, they'd just be no good.
The scoring, I believe, sir.
Yeah, the scoring of a film or like any background man. Like we should have background music because it's just our voices, and that's lame compared to background music. We could really get this podcast pumping.
You know what I would like to see? So when I think of like scoring of movies, I always think of like Hans Zimmer as the guy. If you take Hans Zimmer out of some of those famous movies like Inception or Pirates, how does the movie do? Is it as successful?
Oh, god awful.
I don't know.
I think
It'd be
Brent,
really interesting.
In high school, we had the guy that was in charge of the soundtrack for Chronicles of Narnia come in and give us a little presentation. I forgot what it was exactly for, but he like showed the opening originally, with the original score, and then they switched then they redid it and put a different score, and it was a huge difference. It was like the soundtrack was showing like mystery and like kind of like scariness versus the current soundtrack, which is more of like an adventure's about to take place kind of sound.
I was not there for that. Did we even go to the same high school? Some of these stories you have, it's just
Definitely
like
went to
I
the same
never
high
got
school.
that experience. When was this?
I don't know, it was our
Who was
junior or
this?
senior year, something like that.
Well, they held them away from me.
Do you at
I
least
don't
remember
that at all.
the Centuries of Dance guy?
If I may.
No, I don't.
What?
I don't remember
that one. So if you look up the
Love
history
that
of no,
too.
if you look up the history of dance on YouTube, there's like it used to be the most popular YouTube video ever. I think it's dropped down a little
Yeah,
bit.
I love that guy.
But that guy,
great video.
he performed at our high school, Brent.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
So if
He
I
came
may,
into our high school.
if I may, here's what I'm picturing is happening in high school with you two. Like the entire class is getting ready to see some great presenter who's coming in, and the teachers all get together and you're like, all right, how are we going to distract Brent? We can't
Untie
have
his
him
shoe.
there. He's going to disrupt the whole thing. He's going to ask too many questions. We need to have this be an enjoyable, positive experience for the rest of the students. Somebody untie Brent's shoe. He'll be gone for 3 hours.
The only possible explanation I can think of, and the only thing was either they only went to certain classes and all my teachers were lame. One possibility. Two, the best presentations always came maybe in the afternoon when I was at like a cross country meet or track or something. That's a possibility. Or three, I remember high school being great, but I
Right,
missed
in
out
high
on so
school,
much.
in our
It could have been so much
cafeteria,
better.
do you remember there used to be like a little pond in the back with fish?
Yes.
Okay, he's not completely lost.
Okay, so it was okay. I did go to the same high school. Thank goodness. Okay.
Well, hold on.
The only famous
Hold
people
on, North,
I remember.
North Pond with fish in it too.
Oh no.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm questioning everything. I wanted to see the history dance. I do remember seeing the only famous people I remember seeing in high school was Susie Faber Hamilton, who was a really, really famous runner. Who then,
I don't remember that
after she
person.
came to our high school, she ended up having really big issues with her life wasn't exciting anymore. She was kind of mental to begin with. Got in a big scandal for being a prostitute in Las Vegas, but that's a whole nother story. She's still a great runner. Can't take that away from her. She came to our high school with
Did you not
along with
have
this
James
one guy.
Jones come?
No,
James Jones went to all the high schools in Appleton.
not when I was there.
Yeah.
No, I remember Packer pros in middle school, but never in high school.
No.
This sucks. My high school sucked. I thought my high school was
We
great. I
had
had
like
such a
an
good experience.
the entire school came to the gymnasium. We listened to James Jones speak for like 20 minutes, and then he just signed shit for like half an hour.
Nope. I would have gotten something signed if it was. I definitely don't remember that.
I don't
Kyle, do you remember
recall
James
or
Jones?
know who
I had-
James Jones is.
He's a Packer wide receiver.
Packer wide receiver.
Oh, that James
the guy
Jones.
who made the hood famous.
Okay, I don't know. I
By
do know who you're
famous, I
talking
mean
about.
the NFL banned it because James
Yeah,
Jones
right.
just had a hood on every game.
Even you'd have cut off hoodies and just have the hood.
Oh yeah,
Such a great look. The Carmelo Anthony.
I
Football.
love that look. Like I wish they still allowed that. That was a nice look.
No, I don't remember that. I don't think he came when I was.
I don't remember that.
See,
for
I
us
just feel
for
like
me either.
everything I missed.
Oh,
I
we
just
talked
missed out on all
about,
of it.
hold on. We talked about that guy who does all the dances, like who does
Yeah.
the pencil sharpener dance and this dance and the other dance. You saw that guy?
I saw that guy. Remember,
Yeah, I didn't see him.
because one of the points of his speech was like, "Stand up if you can dance," and then like only like a third of
only, like,
everybody stood
3
up,
kids
and then he's like, "You should all be standing because everybody can dance. It's just a matter of whether you want to or if you feel you're good enough. Everybody can dance."
Right.
Like that was his
maybe
whole
I
point.
did see
Motivational
that.
speaker. It was a motivational speaker, and his move that was the goofiest that everyone kind of really liked was the pencil sharpener.
Yeah.
You basically, like hold one arm out and you just kind of like do this
Cranked.
while crank while you're
Oh,
pumping
maybe
your
I
legs
did
with
see
it or
it.
something.
Oh, okay. No, that sounds familiar now.
Yeah, that was the evolution of dance guy, Brent.
So
I think I was in the second.
if
I
I
think I was
may,
reading the back.
if
Okay.
I
didn't realize that was
may,
that guy. That
if
might. have
I
actually
may,
happened.
I believe earlier this episode, Brent claimed that he doesn't forget things.
He's like an elephant. Yeah, he did say that.
No,
I don't think in the
forget
recording he
that.
said he was an elephant. But before we started, he said he was an elephant. And then again, it came up and he said he doesn't forget things.
And the elephant thing is what triggered me to Zootopia.
Yeah.
That's where the thought process went.
I don't recall saying that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Imagine
There's no
that.
recording. There might be recording.
Actually, there is.
There might have been a recording. Me and Nick were recording while you were dropping in and out.
Right now.
I don't love it.
Anyhow. Okay, so for skiing this last weekend, we went to Keystone Resort, which, number one, if you go to that place, yes, you definitely have to wake up at like 6 in the morning and get there right as everything opens, like an hour before everything opens. Otherwise, it's near impossible to find a parking spot. But besides the parking and the drive up there being a pain, it wasn't that big of a pain, but besides those things, the rest of it was an awesome experience. Like, getting your skis took us no time at all. It was super easy. And then, like, the lines were, the first line to get on the gondola was a little rough in the morning, but after that, it was 5 minutes max to get onto one of the gondolas. And I will say, like, gondolas, you meet the most interesting people on gondolas. Like, I was with a whole family, and she was like, does anybody want any snacks? This is their last run. It's like noon. I was like, okay. And so she's like, handing out snacks. Like, would you like some? I'm like, I'm okay. And she's like, no, seriously. Like, this is our last one. She had like mini Smarties, or not Smarties, sweet tarts. No, they're squares. They're square, cubic-ish. They come in like a straight. Maybe they're Smarties. No, they're not Smarties. Smarties are
circular.
Yeah, nope, they're definitely square. Nope,
thing.
I'm talking about something. Starburst. Nailed it. She had mini Starburst, which I didn't even know were a thing. She's like, would you like some? I was like, sure, I'll take a couple, because she's like offering for the third time. She like dumps half the bag in my hand. I'm like, Jesus. And so like I was like putting in my pocket. No, it was great. But I was like, oh, thank you. And so I had these in my pocket, and I forgot them for a little bit. And then we got on another gondola with some guys who were definitely high and had just flown in from Minnesota. And they were like handing us a beer. So Parker and I split a beer with them on the gondola. And I must say, gondola beers are the best. They're right up there with shower beers.
How long's the ride?
It's like 15 minutes. You got a full. It's a solid beer worth of drinking time in that gondola.
What's
two beers for Nick. But like, yeah, Parker and I were splitting a beer, and we just downed it between us really fast. And they're like, "Damn!" And we're like, "We're from Wisconsin." But we just had one beer, and they were all drinking. We were drinking half a beer, and they were drinking one. But yeah, so I handed them Smarties. But handing them Smarties reminded me of the time that Brent and I
Starburst, right?
Starburst. And that reminded me of a time where Brent and I pulled off the most amazing skiing feat of all time.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, so it was when we were in Scouts.
The greatest achievement of all time.
Yeah, it was mostly Brent. I mean, I had an okay throw, but it was mostly Brent. It was in Nordic Mountain in Wisconsin. It was during one of the Scout days or whatever. But we're skiing down the hill together, and we're getting. Go ahead, Brent. Go ahead,
Nordic Hill. Nordic Hill. If we're
it's called Nordic Mountain, but it's definitely.
Can't call it a mountain.
No, not after being on a legit mountain. But I had cheese curds in my pocket, in the bag from previous or from lunch or whatever. We're skiing down the hill. I'm like, Brent, want a cheese curd? He's like, yeah. So I grabbed one. I throw it. He like fully extends his glove. It's like full arm reach. Grabs it. Hump. It was fantastic. We were going like 30 miles an hour down a hill, and we threw a cheese curd to each other.
And we're at least 15, 20 feet away.
Oh yeah, we were
It was
decent.
a good distance. We were not next to each other.
No,
it was not a hand. It was a legit toss.
Yeah, it was an underhand toss, and Brent full
done.
Outstretched arm grabs it, nailed it.
It's one of those catches where you don't actually like catch it. It's just you stick your hand out and it just hits the hand, and just I didn't catch it. It more like found me. I stuck it out and it just hit the hand. I'm like right in the mouth. It was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Yep, that was one of my fondest memories of all time, is throwing a cheese curd while skiing down a hill, and Brent somehow catching it and being able to eat it.
Best cheese curd of my life, that's for sure.
Can't beat that.
That is what I was thinking. So I went this weekend.
Did you?
Cross-country skiing for the first time. And I will say it was one of the craziest experiences I've had. First off, I haven't skied in a long time, and that was kind of tiring. But we go up, and it's one of those where I thought we'd get to a flat spot maybe and do some nice, easy. the entire time we went up for probably an hour to an hour and a half of straight up. Like we just were going up this mountain driveway. Meant that when we came down, like the entire way back was just a downhill. It took us 25 minutes of downhill skiing to get back. That's how far we went. But it was crazy because I don't think there's anywhere in Wisconsin that you could take 25 minutes to get down a hill anywhere in Wisconsin. But here we are in just like a regular old little cross-country skiing event, and we just went 25 minutes of down, which when you're with classic cross-country skis is sort of terrifying, actually. But it was,
yeah, so I remember my first ever time on cross-country skis was actually at the camp that we used to work at, and there's a hill going down to the waterfront. And I was like, oh, I'll just go down this hill, and then, because I have downhill skied before, I'll just skid to a stop at the bottom and just stop.
That's
Nope.
not how that works.
You cannot just sideways stop on cross-country skis. It just doesn't work. So I fell down. And yeah, that was my first adventure on cross-country skis. And then I hiked him up the hill because I had already fallen down. Good
yeah,
stuff.
stopping on cross-country skis is really rough. Can I do a quick tangent train interruption for a special unboxing?
A special unboxing.
Yes, give me a second. This is a time-sensitive thing, so
Oh,
you guys talk about something for like 2 minutes while I get the unboxing materials. Okay, go.
whoa. What could it be?
So, I guess he's got to get a better way of stepping away, like not telling us he has to go to the bathroom or just like having this shit prepared.
Yeah, right?
At any rate-
This is very important and time sensitive. So I need to go get ready during the podcast.
Yeah, just step away. Like we'll make it work unless you're gone for 15 minutes straight.
Right.
So when you listen to this, take notes. At any rate, the story I was going to
Oh,
kind
God.
of continue
That's a big
with here
box.
was, if I can wrap up just before we dive to the box thing. When I was skiing, I don't know if I've told this story. I took a skiing class at Michigan Tech when I was there. And we had an instructor who was super chill, and I was with a group of people who already knew how to ski. We just took the class because it was an elective and we could. And the last day of the class, we decided to play tag on the mountain. And we just got up a mountain, a hill again, compared to an actual mountain. But we
Playing tag while skiing.
we decided to play tag while skiing, which is horribly dangerous.
Brent, we
Did
see you're
that,
excited. Just
and
hold on for a second.
To start
Sounds like a
things
bad
out.
idea.
To start things out, yeah, good luck. To start things out for this race, though, we get to the top of the hill, and we all have 40s, and we all essentially slam 40s, and then
Sounds like
proceed
one
to
of the
play
worst
tag.
idea.
It was fantastic. What was the best is the instructor did it in one run. Like he didn't like stop, take a break, breathe. It was no. He downed an entire 40, and then we played tag. It was
Nice.
It was impressive. But
right.
anyway, that was my fun skiing
Dude,
story.
tag. Okay, next time, because now I've been to Colorado. I'm now a Colorado skier. I'm way above Wisconsin skiers at this point, obviously.
I have no argument because there's not a mountain here.
Yeah, I'm a Colorado skier. But I did hit my very first ever Colorado Black Diamond. It was an itty bitty section in between two blues, and we're like, doesn't look too bad. Let's do it. So we went down a section of Black Diamond, and I'm officially a Colorado Black Diamond skier, basically a pro.
Out of like, all right, here we go. Let's do some boxing, and then I have a ski story that I want to tell before we go. But these videos made people famous. This is going to be like that. To give a little background story,
Also,
my wife.
like 25 plus minutes into the video, you have to go to.
I know. I'll clip it out someday. Anyway, so my wife, to give a little background, has a favorite family member. It might not be me. I arrived home one day, a few days ago, and waiting here is this giant box. And I was like, "Ooh, Christmas is coming early."
Oh, the favorite
right?
family
No,
member is Maple.
It's for my dog Maple. So I guess what happened was when she went to buy Maple's Christmas present, instead of she got some sort of coupon where if she paid $50, she got.
Brent, can you pay attention to the
something
knife,
off.
please?
It'll be fine. It's like a kitchen knife. Anyway, so we got a dog bed, and now I guess Heather wants to see what the dog bed looks like. So we're unboxing Christmas early this year for me.
I was going to say, is everyone okay with you doing this unboxing right now, or are you going to regret this?
No, I think this is okay because it's for Maple. Maple, don't look. My dog is sleeping in the corner, so she should be okay.
She won't
Her
know.
name and wake her up.
Here we go. Oh, look at that. She gets this bed. Now, do you guys think she
Looks
would
pretty
like this
comfy.
bed?
I'd sleep in it.
I think it looks pretty good. You think Mabel will like it?
Find
it'll
out.
work.
We should try it out on camera.
Well, she's too busy sleeping. Well, so
Perfect.
the reason
She wants
I
to
have
sleep
unbox
already.
this now is because Heather's at Costco, and she thinks that she might have one that's fluffier. And
Oh.
of course, Maple needs the fluffiest of beds. So she's either gonna. Oh, I gotta take a picture of it maybe and send it to her. She's either gonna get that one or.
Brent, you should take a picture of yourself curled up on it. No, seriously, you should put it on the floor and just like curl up like a dog on it and be like, "It's good." Then selfie mode it. Do it.
It
Do
looks
it.
fluffy.
It's for the views, Brent.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can demean myself that much.
No, you can do it.
I want
believe in
to,
you.
but I don't know if I can. All right, let's see what else she got in this box. So she also got. She's getting the good stuff.
Is that
She has a
bone or
bone.
tug of war thing?
Extra large, flat,
bone.
knotted bone. This will last Maple probably half a day, if we're lucky. And a hidden hide and slide.
He doesn't even know what it is. That's like
toy.
that's
I
like
don't even know
the
what this is.
that's like when the kids open the present and is like, "Oh, it's great. What is it?"
It's a giant puzzle for our dog. If this is what Maple's getting, I feel like I have a good shot of getting a very nice Christmas this year. If she put
No,
half
the whole
thought
budget's
that
on
she did,
Maple. The whole budget went to Maple.
It might be.
No, there's no might. It definitely did.
That bed does look pretty fluffy though.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think it will be fine. I don't know why she thinks she needs another one, but that's I want her to be happy and having a good
Maybe
dog.
she's
bed
trying to
for Maple.
tell you something, Brent.
She needs a better
Another-
mattress.
Another dog on the way.
We're expecting another puppy
We're
under the
expecting
tree.
another puppy.
I'm just saying, like, two
We
beds.
talked- We have 2 beds already.
One
so
of
I don't
the
know.
other
3 beds.
3 beds. Better than 2 puppies.
So-
Twins.
one of the other things they had at the ski hill was a giant snow fort. It was massive.
Oh,
They
that's
claimed
cool.
it was the world's largest snow fort. I didn't go in it, but I went around it, and it was very big. And apparently they're going to light it on fire this weekend, or fireworks from it, or they're going to light it up somehow this weekend, and it might be cool. But it was a pretty big snow fort, I must say.
Those are 2 very different trains of thought. They're going to light it on fire, or they're going to.
They said the lighting of it
fireworks.
with fireworks. So I'm assuming I don't really know.
Like, are they going to burn it? I'm confused.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I thought you said light it up. I thought.
They didn't learn anything
Marijuana.
from the Game of Thrones producers when they thought it would be a brilliant idea to reveal the start date of not this most coming season, but the season behind that. You had a bunch of really educated folks who didn't know anything about how ice melts, and they had to like flame. Did I already? I think I may have already said this, but I'll cover it real quick.
No, I don't think you did.
I don't.
remember
I'm
this
not
happening
following
now.
you.
So
I watched this on Facebook.
last season of Game of Thrones, which is the second to last season overall, they revealed the date that the first episode would start. And what they did is they had the date in a giant block of ice, and you couldn't see what it was. So what they did is they set up like a Facebook like button control thing, where after they got like 20 likes, the flamethrower would, and like it was more than that, probably like 100 likes, because there's millions of people who love this show and follow their Facebook. But after like 100 likes or shares or whatever, it would shoot out flames for 5 to 10 seconds at the ice. And they're like, oh yeah, well it'll melt the ice and then it'll reveal the date, which is a really, really cool idea. Only they didn't take their like thermodynamics or whatever the technical class is, because you can have a bonfire on the ice. That's pretty common knowledge in the Midwest. They ran out of gas before the ice even came close to melting. Completely embarrassed themselves, and eventually
They just like hit it with a sledgehammer and be like, "Yep, there it is."
They posted a picture of like before it was frozen. They're like, "Hey, so we had no idea." Which the irony wasn't lost on me and other fans that
winter is coming.
And spoiler alert! If you are not aware and up to date of the Game of Thrones show, like fast forward 30 seconds, earmuffs, whatever. At any rate, here it comes. Last warning, spoiler alert. At the end of the season, the dragon knocks down this 100 wall, something huge foot tall ice wall that's incredibly thick as well. And he does it with blue fire. And it's like, okay, there's a magic element that you just kind of have to nod to and just be like, oh, okay. But the reality of the situation, this idea that fire can just knock out ice, no problem. That's not how it works. Not even close.
Takes a lot of energy to convert ice to liquid.
Yes, it does.
Dragon at the wall? Huh? Just kidding.
I'm not.
It's like I'm not explaining all of Game of Thrones. Oh my god, that is the worst when people like you're watching something. I don't mind it for something I've seen a bajillion times, but if it's the first time I'm watching something, like especially like the new Game of Thrones episode, I hate it when people are asking questions. It's like, no, I'm like, just watch. Like I cannot handle answering your questions right now. Like if it's not the first time, then yes, I'll explain away. Like because especially Game of Thrones, the first couple episodes, you don't know who everybody is. Like it is very confusing. The first couple episodes of Game of Thrones until you get fully introduced to all 50 characters that are semi-meaningful. But if it's the first,
I need to do a rewatch starting pretty quick.
It's coming up semi soon
because it comes out in April?
Yeah,
May.
Not much time to watch. What 7 seasons?
I'll knock it out, don't worry. But I have a huge pet peeve of anyone, and I'm not like this just with Game of Thrones, like movies in general. Anything that has a thick plot, a real story behind it, I lock in, and I'm following everything. And nothing upsets me more than just a casual watcher who doesn't give a rat's rear end about the show, and it's just like, oh, who's that? So that was the thing, the whole thing. that was just missed 6 seasons in the making, and it's all like I'm geeking out, like falling out of my chair, like, oh my god, mind blown.
Oh, hold the door.
Oh, what's going on? Like, can you explain it? Like, no, I cannot explain right now.
There's no way I'm explaining 6 seasons of stuff to you in order for you to fully understand that.
And Megan hates it because she's a super casual watcher of movies and other things, and she knows I know because I lock into like all the lore and all the details, and she'll want to ask me questions, but I've gotten her down to where she doesn't. Not that I mind every now and again, or afterward I'll debrief, but it's just like I'm usually watching on such an intense level, like I'm trying to catch every little nuance, every little her hand slid and the note fell into her pocket, and now she's got.
If I may, slight story about my father. So, Mom, I apologize for the Megazord story. The Megazord story, my mom was a little upset because of how spoiled I was as a kid, and I complained about the Megazord story on like 2 podcasts ago, where I complained that I couldn't get the free Megazord. So, I apologize, and yes, I was spoiled as a kid, but it was a free Megazord. It was a free Megazord, though. But to my
let the record state
it would have been free.
It was free.
Anyway, to my dad though, I apologize in advance to my dad. But my dad has a tendency to talk during movies as well. I can think of 2 examples. Number one, with Game of Thrones, it was actually my mom and I and my brothers watching one of the latest episodes when it was coming out. And my dad likes Game of Thrones, but I don't think he's seen everything up to the point. But so he gets it, but I don't think he's seen everything chronologically. And so he came in, he's like, "So what's happening now?" I'm like, 6 season? Like, what I miss? You missed 6 seasons, Dad. Like that's what you missed. But yeah. That's the one short story. The second one is the first time that I tried to watch. I can't think of it. They reference it in Pitch Perfect, the movie with a bunch of kids in detention. Wow, can't think.
Chris Club.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club.
Breakfast Club, yes. So the first time I was watching Breakfast Club, it was me and Juliana and myself watching Breakfast Club. So it was only like 3 years ago. And so we were watching it. My dad comes in and starts like explaining something about the movie. And what he was saying was interesting, but he just like kept going. And I'm like, the movie's like, my dad went for a good 15 minutes. I ended up just stopping the movie. I was like, I'll wait for you to be done with your stuff. It's like, what he said was interesting, but he just kept on going. It's like, oh my God. Like, you were talking for 15 minutes, like the movie's going on. Like, his tidbit was really interesting, but it's like, Dad, the movie is also currently going here. Like, I like your tidbit, but the movie's playing.
Yeah. No offense, they have no concept for, like, when you're talking, when you're not watching, there are things that are relevant. Like the big explosion's great, but just like there's a lot that leads up to that. Like and if it's a well done movie with a thick plot, it'll have all those little pieces in there. And Kyle, please keep talking. I'm loving keeping Brent in the background here for the last 20 minutes.
Right? Yeah. Well, like you'll have something where
it's it all. I have the story that connects it all perfectly. There's a big conspiracy here, but I have it.
Don't forget it.
The Breakfast Club. Don't you forget about me. That brings me back to a story about skiing a long time ago. We were seniors in high school, and we had been driving. At least I'd been driving for a while, but big trip away from home. And there's this Nordic mountain that we talked to, and that was the only mountain I'd ever skied at, besides I think a couple of trips in middle school with school. Fine, but I wanted to do something better, go for a bigger mountain. And outside of Wausau, actually I think it's in Wausau, Wisconsin, is a mountain called Rib Mountain, or place, it's Granite Peak, which is a much bigger, better hill. And
Is this the hill I don't remember skiing?
Yes, that's where the tie-in is, yes. So I go, Kyle, and I think a few other friends,
Steph and somebody else, yeah.
And go skiing. Yeah, I don't remember. Aubrey, I think. So we go out, and Kyle and I are skiing, and we are skiing phenomenally the whole time. I don't think either of us actually even fell. No, yeah, we were doing good, and the whole night was really fun, to the point where at least we probably were getting a little cocky with our skiing. And to save money, of course, so you should probably know where this story is going. The last run, literally the very last run of the night, we come up to I think it was just a Blue Diamond River. And Kyle's like, you know what? It's a last run. This goes straight back to the lodge. I'm going to gun it. And
wait, I asked you about this, Brent.
Being the sensible one.
I asked you if I did anything stupid, and you said no.
You said you wanted to gun it. That's why you had the whole thing. Yeah, you're like, I'm going to gun it. And I said, fun, because we've been doing a couple fast runs throughout the night and gunning it a couple times. But it's our last run, so I'm gonna just take it nice and easy, just because it's the last run and maybe halfway down. So Kyle goes off, and it's one of those where there's a hill and then there's kind of like a little dip for it, and then another downside. So I'm going down, and as I'm going down, I'm thinking by now Kyle's already way at the bottom. Well, I go and I'm halfway at where this dip is, and there's a little bit of like a path coming in from the left. And I look to the right, and literally like 6 inches from a tree on the ground is this guy in a, I think, orange coat or whatever. I'm like, wow, that guy just like whiffed it. So I'm like, I better go over and see if he's okay. Well, that guy who whiffed it was none other than our buddy Kyle, who he fell from the looks of it, and then went probably 25, 30 feet of just like ground, taking him with the skis. And I guess what it turned out was, as he was coming down and gunning it down, someone came from the left side out of like the woods basically, and Kyle bailed, as he's a nice guy, so I'm sure that's what I try not to hit him. But needless to say, I'm like, Kyle, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I feel like I think I'm fine. We ski down, everything looks good, and then Kyle just started acting a little strangely. And I would ask him, like, you ask him a question, and he'd be like, huh? I'm like, eventually it was to the point of like, hey, Kyle, do you know where we are? And he's like, Nordic Brew. I'm like, no, we're at Granite Peak. He's like, no, I've never been there.
To be fair,
like,
I still don't remember the name of that place.
It's Granite Peak. And I'm like, oh, okay. Do you remember what like day it is? And he would guess something. And then I was like, okay, let's walk it off. 5 minutes later, I asked him the same thing. And then like he's like, oh yeah, I know Granite Peak. I told him where it was. 5 minutes later, it was just like he'd forgotten again. Well, you say 911 was called. He was backboarded with a neck brace out to the nearest hospital. It started had an ice storm. So of course, just the greatest weather to drive back in. And there we go. Kyle ends up in the hospital with what concussion was that by now?
I think that was my second or third. Yeah, my first one was at wrestling, and it wasn't that bad. No, maybe that was only my second concussion, because I think I only had the one major one in high school, and then that one. I think that was only my second one. Yeah,
so I drive to the.
Yeah, go ahead.
I drive to the hospital, right? And they finally let me back after they did all these tests on Kyle or whatever they had to do, and they let me go see him just to see if he's okay. And of course, he was still like pretty much out of it, not remembering stuff. And they were showing him he's watching a movie on TV, and I was like, wow, what are you watching? Like, I've never I don't think I recognize that. What is that? It's like, oh, this is Breakfast Club. Or no, this is
Back to the Future 3.
Back to the Future 2.
3,
yeah.
There's 3.
And here it is. This guy with a concussion is recalling a movie better than me, who I definitely had seen it by that point. And that's the connection in the movies, skiing. But yeah, it was crazy. And from then on, it's always helmet or bust, because it's not something to play around with.
Well, from what I remember from that trip, I remember getting there. I remember for some reason we thought it was going to be a lot cheaper, but it was like a lot more expensive than we thought it was going to be. And I was like, well, we're here. I guess because it was like holiday price. Like, it was normally on this day, on like Tuesday, it was fine, but because it's a holiday, it was extra pricey or whatever. So I remember paying a lot more for skiing than I wanted to. And then I remember us trying a mogul. It was like a beginner mogul, and like not liking it and being like, moguls are dumb. I remember one of the girls that was with us was trying snowboarding for the first time. And this is like the first run. We were trying to go down, and she was falling every 5-10 feet. And I'm like,
oh, they're so slow.
I am not going to be doing this all day. Like, I just remember being like, there's no way. And she's like, I can't get up. I'm like, you're going to have to figure out how to get yourself up, because there's no way I really want, like, I understand you're learning, but I don't want to be like following, stopping every 10 feet.
We came to ski. Yeah, we came to
right?
ski.
It's like, I get you're trying to learn, but maybe start at the bunny hill instead next time. Because she sounded more confident than she looked on the hill. I apologize to her.
I thought she had snowboarded before.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's what it
She's
sounded
like. Nope.
The next thing I remember is being on the backboard and being like, I'm assuming there's no way I can refuse this. And then being like, no. I was like, I'm assuming there's no way I can refuse medical assistance. And they're like, no. I remember that. And the next thing I remember is watching Back to the Future 3 in the hospital.
Yep. The rest of
it's nothing.
Was fun. It was fun, but it wasn't. It was just skiing. I don't know. It's not as good as Colorado.
I've worn a helmet since
I was
then.
just like the last. It was crazy.
I was pretty proud of myself. I didn't fall at all this time. Like, not once. I had like 2 times where I was like, because they're like the beginner section, like beginner paths were getting a little worn down, so there was a lot of like grooves already in them. So like I got my ski caught on one a couple times where it's like, ooh, like that could have been bad. Like, I definitely could have fallen there, but that's about it.
So I'll share a brief story, and honestly, concussions have only ever entered my sphere of existence once in high school. Granted, I may have come close once myself with a really cool football story that I love to tell and I'm proud of, but I'll save that for another time. But there was one guy who was on our team and had a lot of concussion issues, and he just couldn't compete, couldn't do. If there was anything clever about him previously, it was gone. Great guy, love him to death. Went into the Marines, good dude. History.
Sorry, Zeke is like scratching in the background, so I apologize if that can come over the mic.
I don't hear anything. You're good.
Okay.
But
like,
that was the only
through my
concussion. That was the only concussion exposure that I had, and then actually after meeting Megan, different people in my life have kind of just popped up, and you start to realize more and more people have a concussion. And I'm going to tell this brief story here, or I'll make it brief, and it's kind of edgy, I guess. Like if she hears it, it won't be anything she doesn't know, but she's one of these people who have a lot of concussion issues and basically in denial, and she's a friend of ours. But she was a cross-country skier at Tech and was very good and is still an incredible athlete, but she keeps hurting herself. And she was running a marathon and actually stress fractured her hip and like broke her own hip running this marathon. And her now fiance actually picked her up in the last like mile and a half or mile or something, and like carried her for the last mile to finish this event. And less than a year and a half after that, she goes out and wins not like a major ski race, but a pretty prominent ski race. She's like top. When I say wins, she's top 5, top 4. Like she made some money on it, which is incredible. Like she's a great athlete, but she's got a lot of concussion issues. I don't know if she was all mountain biking or all skiing, but she keeps hurting herself. She keeps trying to come back too soon, and little stupid things are happening. And it was one of those things. Well, of course you can cross country ski. You just can't fall. And she's got a helmet and has everything else, but that was the logic of she's going to start skiing again. Okay, you just can't fall. And okay. So she just recently got another concussion, and we're all worried about her. And she won't really listen to us or take our advice, and just kind of laughs it off every time. But we're all super concerned, like for her long-term health. And
you can't fix a brain, not yet anyway. You can fix an arm, you can fix a leg. You can't really fix a brain yet.
Exactly. But one of the things that our friend group, and it's kind of an interesting transformation, not that any of us are planning on pulling the trigger intentionally anytime soon. A lot of people in our friend group, it was very interesting the first couple times that we got comfortable talking about kids, got comfortable talking about that next page. The first time it came up, you could tell people were like, whoa, like that's a really, taboo, or that's never going to happen, or we've got like 30 years before we need to worry about having kids. But it came up, and where I'm going with this is if this girl wants to ever have kids, the concussions are an issue, her health is an issue, but then the question becomes, okay, are you comfortable skiing if you become pregnant? And it's kind of the same logic. And there's a really good like former Olympian skier who's pregnant, who is waited till she was later in life, and the doctor allegedly said the same thing that they said about falling with concussions. Well, of course you can ski if you're pregnant. You just can't fall.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to like you limit. And as far as skiing goes, I think there's some things you can do to like make sure that you're going to be, because you can't control the people around you skiing, right? So that's the one thing you can't control. But besides that, you can totally like, maybe I'll just do like as an Olympic athlete, I'll go to the baby hill and do the baby black diamonds instead of the
This is a person we all really care about, and we all really want to see her succeed. And it's been rough, and I get so frustrated just because I'm like, I'm the opposite of everyone in our group who's an endurance athlete. I'm just like, chill out. Like, you're not always in marathon training. Have a beer, sit down, relax, stay up late, do something wrong. But that's why I'm fat and they're not. But I digress. We're all worried about this girl's health, and I go straight to that future. Okay, if she wants to have kids, okay, you just can't fall. Well, because she fell and now has a concussion from skiing, I'm sitting here and I always go to that next phase. It's like I would be so crushed for her if, because of her drive, because of her desire to continue to compete, that she's going to find herself in a position where she goes out, she's skiing because the doctor said she could as long as she doesn't fall, and she's gonna fall. And that's exactly what happened with the concussions, which is bad enough because she's on number 5, 6. I don't know. It's bad. But then, again, down to the next road, she's getting married if they want to have kids. And I don't know if that's the route they want to go. They may not. That's not my business. I'm more of this is purely a hypothetical, me overstepping just because that's what my brain does. And I'm sitting here like, you got to take care of yourself. It's rough. But at any rate, more concussion stories. I digress.
Anyhow, so with that, Brent, you got anything? Otherwise, we can go into our final closing segment.
Oh, let's do it. I'm ready.
We're a segment podcast now. Yeah, for sure.
Not yet.
For this segment, we think we might do this every single week. We'll see how it goes. We're thinking the Thursday thought of the week to kind of go with what thought do you have that propelled you like through the week / into the weekend? What thought can you be driving with you? And for mine, it's the cube work. If you're in a cube world, your work is basically over for the year. Like pretty much everybody's taking off. It's the week of Christmas, week of January 1st. There's no real work to be done yet towards the end of the year. I mean, everybody's got just the small tasks they're trying to finish up quick before they're officially out of the office. But hard work is basically over for the cube life guys. And I think we should all celebrate that.
My thought for the week is with the holidays coming up, you can be the holiday cheer you're looking for. Even if it's rainy like it is in Seattle right now, be that little bit of vitamin D and bring some cheer to those you care about.
And my thought is a reference to the former comedian, and I say former because he's passed now, Ralphie May. As a man, I reserve the right to not have a thought. He does a full bit that basically goes into how women can't understand how a man.
What do you think about that? I don't care. Doesn't
not
matter.
Having a thought. Just nothing.
I like that train of thought about no thoughts.
But that's not a thought. It's not against the whole purpose.
Well, that was episode 30 of If I May. Hope everybody enjoyed bringing you a new episode every Thursday as much as we can. Please support us by subscribing, sharing, rating, and reviewing. Anchor does have a support this podcast option if you want to donate financially. Maybe some free merch or 3D prints for people that might be doing that. And then if you want to get in contact with us or have any questions, you can DM us on Twitter at Zarubust or email us with zarubust@gmail.com. With that, have a great Thursday, and we'll see you next week.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas
or Hanukkah
time.
Or whatever.
Or holidays.
Yeah, that's
Peace.
See you guys.